What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of DiabloCast. It is Friday once again. So happy to be here. I'm your host, Dennis Force Duhamel. With me, as always, we've got Kevin Sixen Carlino. Kevin, hello. How are you?
What's going on, everybody?
Nice,
Dennis.
Nice to have you.
How do you do?
Yeah, well, doing dandy. Yeah, everything's going great. Some new Diablo developments, which is pretty awesome. Obviously, the biggest and newest thing, of course, is the recent release of beta patch number 6. We will, of course, be spending quite a bit of time discussing that. And it seems like not too long ago where we were spending an entire episode talking about a patch for beta patch 5. But
it seems like not that long ago I complained about having my characters wiped again.
Yeah, well, welcome back to the beta, huh?
Yeah, right.
So yeah, beta patch 6 will be taking up a chunk of our discussion. We're just talking about the various changes, what it means for the release and everything like that. But also we've got some discussion of the follower page. That recent addition to the community site, the Diablo III community site, did receive that update. So pretty cool stuff there. Got some in-depth look at the followers. And then also some collector's edition clarification. Thank you so much to Micah, also known as Bashiok. What is he? What's his official title? He's got some official title, doesn't he?
Community manager is what they call themselves.
Yeah, that's good. So we got that community manager stuff, giving us some nice intel into our brains. Thank you so much, Bashiok. All right, let's just jump right into the first topic for today, which is going to be the follower page update to the community site. Okay, so gonna go ahead and pull this up here. As simple as it sounds, there was an update to the community site in the sense of a follower page addition, getting to take an in-depth look at the Templar, Scoundrel, and the Enchantress. Ooh, so awesome indeed. So, nothing incredibly new here, Kevin. I think that just to have some nice visual and to be able to kind of search through these is pretty cool indeed, I would say. Did you spend much time taking a look at the site at all, looking at the all the various options that come with this?
I was checking it out. I really like that they added the skill calculator. I mean, like you said, there's really not that much new stuff. Most of it is just stuff we've already known about. I do like that they kind of added all these different follower pages, though. I mean, it definitely gives them, a little bit of, importance, I guess I could say.
Mm-hmm.
The web guys, they put up the different character models and whatnot, 3D models of each character. They gave the lore, some features. They look exactly like the normal playable character pages, which is pretty sweet. I like it.
Yeah,
I really like it.
I was actually just going to say that because as you just mentioned, this is pretty much the exact same layout as the regular character pages are when we're looking at all the 5, playable classes there in Diablo 3. And I think that this has significance in the sense that it actually makes them feel equally as important as our character, and I think that's pretty cool because that's kind of one of the goals of Blizzard in the follower system, is to make it feel like a real living, breathing companion when you're playing the game. So even just something as subtle as having the layout of the page be equivalent to that of one of your playable characters, I think it adds just kind of some weight to them. So I like that. I think that's awesome. And like you said, they also have that skill calculator, so you can take a look as well at the skills there. And actually, I'm going to pull up the Templar skills here, just take a quick little look. And same thing, it's the exact same layout as the playable character. So
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I really love this. I was thinking about doing something like this for my own kind of a site, or back when I was working on Diablo fans. I mean, it's really not that important. Like having a calculator to check out the different follower skills and whatnot is really not a necessity, but it's definitely something awesome to have.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I think we were talking about this last night. I mean, Blizzard's kind of going all out on their website, and I really like it. We have the skill calculator, we have the follower skill calculator. Pretty soon we're going to have an armory and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And that they added player profiles in patch 6 in the game. That's not on the website yet, but I guarantee it's going to be on the website relatively soon. And once they add the player profiles to the website, they're going to be able to do all kinds of stuff like they do with the World of Warcraft website, where you can check your items and upgrade your items, or theoretically upgrade your items. You don't actually do it, but you can see what upgrades you have. Just really cool stuff like that. It doesn't leave that much room for fan-built stuff, but again, there are still some tools that I guarantee Blizzard won't do. Like, I don't know, there's small stuff like a gem calculator, see how many gems it takes to get to the next level, how many you need to get from level 1 to level 7, or whatever, yada yada yada. Mm-hmm. But I really like where Blizzard's going. I like the direction they're taking.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that, and I feel like it's only a matter of time until this stuff is going to be, available on iOS, and there'll be apps for everyone to do pretty much everything that you can do here on the site. And I think that's pretty cool because that's one of those things. When you're obsessed with a game, you want nothing more than to be able to look at it while you're away from your computer. So having this kind of functionality, on our Android or stupid iPhones or whatever. It's going to be pretty cool, too. So, yeah, nice little update. Head on over to the Diablo 3 community site to take a look at that, the follower pages, if you'd like to learn more about them and just kind of waste some time and peruse around the site. Not a bad idea. All right, so next up, we do have some Collector Edition clarification coming from Mr. Bashyok here, and we'll pull up the exact quote here for you guys to take a look at, and especially specifically discussing like the collector edition dies that are available and how it was going to work. We had some questions in the past about, what happens if you're playing a hardcore character and you die? Do you lose your collector edition dies for that entire thing? Well, it turns out there's actually going to be one per character. Bashyok specifically stating, updated his previous post, yada yada. It's one per character you create. You can drop or trade them and can't sell them on AH, of course. So every time you make a new character, you will have those collector edition specific dies. Which was it? Smokey and something like that? Cloud?
Yeah,
Smokey and Cloud?
Yeah, exactly. Cloudy and Smokey.
Yeah. Yep. So there you go. That's good. I mean, that seems like the best thing. We were kind of discussing various options. I know we talked about maybe if it's like in your shared stash permanently or something, but I guess that seems like the best,
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only problem, and like I said, I think last week, was just that if they do the whole shared stash thing, then you have to at least have two sets because you're going to have a different set, or you're going to have a different stash for softcore and hardcore characters. So, I mean, I guess it makes sense not being able to drop it or trade it, sell it, whatever, and then just getting one set per character.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. I agree. That seems like the best, most kind of logical thing that could happen there. So there you go. That is it. And now for the bulk of our discussion, it's going to be taking up most of the time. Beta Patch 6 just came through. It was last night, like late last night, I believe. And then
actually, I mean, they brought the servers down at like 2 p.m. and I think they expected like an 8-hour maintenance or something like that.
Took a while.
And then I think it ended up turning into like a 12-hour maintenance. I don't know. I actually got dragged out to see the midnight premiere of Twilight last night.
Oh, geez. See, those are one of those things that you just have to not admit. That's just one of those things. No, but it's pretty cool. There were any huge gameplay changes. The monk got actually a little bit of an overhaul, and I actually took the liberty to record a little playthrough with the monk earlier in the day, and that should be up sometime this weekend. Just taking a look at how he plays now with these changes. But again, it's nothing huge. There weren't any gigantic changes that took place, but in terms of actual functionality, there's some pretty awesome additions. We have got. Well, why don't you tell them what we got in the beta, Kevin?
Oh man.
I'm throwing it right on you. That's what you get. That's what you get for
this
spacing out.
All right, so they actually updated the auction house. Now we can sell items that are stackable. Although I kind of thought that meant we'd be able to sell tomes and pages. I guess we can't for whatever reason, but and actually that kind of does surprise me because now we can sell gems which aren't in the game as far as I'm aware. So, I mean, we can sell a bunch of cool stuff, I guess, like scrolls and whatnot. Pages and tomes, not yet for whatever reason, but otherwise, player profiles, that's awesome. Has 3D models. I was actually, Dennis threw up a video a couple hours ago, I believe, outlining the player profiles and whatnot. It's pretty sweet. For whatever reason, I can't get any achievements. I don't know what's going on. I guess it's a bug that they're...
It was... it's funny because I did a full. Have you done a full run or just do like a partial run or whatever?
No, I only did about half. I got up to the cemetery, but I mean, I killed a couple monsters with Chandelier. I didn't get the achievement for that. I mean, I didn't get the achievement for the Deckard Cain quest. I don't know what's going on.
It was weird because I'm in the same boat. I got some achievements. Actually, I got the Chandelier and I got a couple of others, but like I killed the Skeleton King, nothing popped up. And there was a few other things. Oh yeah, was it? I found Deckard Cain clearly, and nothing popped up, and that's one of the achievements. Like discovered Deckard Cain. Like I was just like, what the hell's going on? So I think they're just kind of bugged out a little bit right now. I'm assuming that's the issue. So
yeah, I'm assuming it's going to work out relatively soon. And something that actually did catch my eye was that they have two different achievements. It's beta maxed and whatever the other one was. Actually, I could probably look it up, but I can find it later. But beta maxed was basically you get all the achievements for or no, beta max was where you max all characters to the max level of the beta. So you get one of each of the 5 classes to level 13, and you get this achievement. And the other one is complete all the achievements for the beta. Now I'm wondering if this is going to transfer over into our normal accounts. Like I don't see why they. I mean, I guess they could just throw it in there and add it for fun.
I don't think so. I really don't.
I mean, yeah,
but it's it just. I think this is just they're just kind of testing the system. You know what I mean?
True.
That's my assumption. The only reason I say that is because there would be so much crying from people who aren't in the beta.
That's very true.
Even though it doesn't make a difference at all, there would be a lot of complaints. So
I definitely agree with you, and I actually thought about this morning because when I was thinking about bringing this up, I knew you were going to say that. So I mean, there are other feats of strength. Is that what they are?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure they're feats of strength. Going to BlizzCon. People who don't get to BlizzCon can't get that achievement. Collector's editions. Some collector's editions sold out.
But
I mean,
I think the other thing too, though, is that like if we look at past betas, like World of Warcraft has had the achievement system post the last, like prior to the last last expansion, and they didn't do anything for the beta for that. You know what I mean? Like the most recent expansion. I think that's one of the things that's kind of leading me to believe that it's not going to happen. And actually, while we're doing this, I just hopped into the D3 beta just to kind of run through this. Even though, like you said, I made that video earlier. I just want people to get a kind of a live look. But anyways, it's pretty cool. Now, all these various achievements. I suppose it's like possible, but still seems unlikely that these things are actually going to carry over into release, but that just seems too unlikely to me. You can argue against it if you want.
No, I mean, I'm kind of on the fence. I was just throwing it out there for some discussion. I mean,
people have asked that. Like I saw that question come up, so it seems like a legitimate concern at the very least. People are like, "Oh, is this going to happen?" I'm going to say no. Most likely no.
Yeah, I mean, and probably for that exact reason. And I mean, otherwise, I don't even know if it's physically possible because again we're playing on a beta server. We're not playing on North America or whatever. I mean I don't.
Right.
I'm just throwing it out there. Anyway, I mean we can probably get into achievements a little bit later on, like the specifics. Unless you want to show it off right now. I definitely did want to talk about the player profiles a bit more.
Sure.
I mean,
well, why don't you? You can start talking about it. I'm going to pull it up at the same time, and we can we'll just chat it up about player profiles.
All right. I mean. There's definitely a lot of pretty sweet stuff. Like I like that they track some of the statistics. I mean, off the top of my head, I think it was gold collected and monsters killed, I believe.
Yeah,
because I know you're looking at it right now.
Sure. The front page going to be total monsters killed. That's hilarious, by the way.
I think it's awesome.
That number's going to get ridiculous, though. What are they going to do?
I know.
They're going to have to there's going to have to be like a to the power of 10 sign eventually. I mean, literally, I don't understand. This number is going to get so large at some point. So there's total monsters killed, and that's kind of in the forefront, and then it's pretty simple: elite killed, gold collected, highest hardcore level, and hardcore kills. Those are all the lists. And then this is interesting: the total time played by class. That's pretty interesting.
That's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm really hoping that they show more statistics. I mean, I like what they have done so far, but I don't know. I mean, I like knowing a bunch of stuff, like how many times I've died. Like that's sucks, but probably a little bit embarrassing. But it's good to know. I mean, they track a whole bunch of stuff in World of Warcraft. I think there's a whole statistics page. Gold collected, times you've flown, total miles traveled, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that would be. I mean, this could very well still be one of those things where it's still in the beta. So
work in progress. Yeah.
Yeah. I see. My only worry is like the total time played per class. That's going to get depressing at some point. I mean, let's be honest here.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's something I actually noticed because I do have 2 classes. Keep in mind, guys, that all the characters were cleared with the beta patch, as is typically the case, and so we don't have I've got a max level 8 monk, and then I did a barbarian at level 5. But looking at this, there's actually it looks like it's going to be like a bar graph. In terms of percentages, comparing all 5 classes and how much you've played each, because I played the monk the most, and it's like all the way filled to the top, and the barbarian's only level 5 and 50 minutes, and that one's kind of only partly filled, if you know what I mean. So I think it's just going to take your total time played and then make a bar graph by class. It looks like that's what it's going to be. That's kind of cool. I kind of like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty awesome. I mean, I definitely like it. I definitely at the same time want to see more if possible.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'd be too much asked to just have it scroll down and have a longer list. You know what I mean, on that left-hand side.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know. Not complaining, just definitely want to see more. I mean,
right.
Yeah, I guess it's really not that important to see all these statistics, but at the same time, it's pretty cool to have.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, do we want to get into the hero tab, the inventory and all that jazz? I suppose so.
What did I miss? Oh, the hero tab.
Yeah, hero tab. So basically, where we're taking a look at gear. You said there was a 3D model viewer.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a 3D view of your character with the gear on, so that's what you're looking at right now.
Right.
That's your character wearing the actual items you're wearing. So like that axe in his, I think it's his right hand, because he's backwards.
Yeah, the one with the cold glow damage on it.
Yeah, exactly. He's the magic enchanted one on the left side.
Yeah, yep. No, it's pretty cool. I like this. And again, this is very reminiscent of the WoW Armory, and we should expect this to come up on the D3 community site at some point at release. Like, I don't see any reason why this. Obviously, they have the infrastructure to do this. It's just
exactly. And I mean, I don't know, setting it up in game. Just I feel like there's absolutely no way we're not going to see this on the website.
Right. Absolutely. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. So not only can you take a full look at all the gear on all of your characters, in addition to that, you get to take a look at the stats. So this isn't something that you have to literally go in game for. The attack, precision, defense, and vitality. Go ahead.
And skills.
Yep, and the skills.
Whatever.
Yeah, skills, active, passive skills, as well as the runes that you have selected. So, pretty cool, just a nice little summarization of the characters. And this is also something that you're going to be able to look at your party members,
there
right?
You go, okay.
Or is it friends? Yeah, probably friends.
Oh, okay. I mean, I do remember reading party members, but I don't see... Okay, yeah, and real ID friends, not normal Diablo 3 friends. Unless that's just for the beta. I'm assuming that's probably going to be a real ID feature. So yes, at the very least, real ID friends and party members.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And it's it's a nice functionality that they added. I'm definitely pretty happy that they put the stuff in the beta just for us to take a look at before release. And like you said, I think that this is a nice starting place, and hopefully they do add more at some point. So.
I mean, I'm definitely a little bit surprised. I mean, we are still expecting the the real money auction house sometime soon. So I mean, patch 5 is relatively large. Patch 6 has a bunch of new features. I mean, it's a lot of surprising changes. I mean, lots of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Not stuff that I expected, that's for sure.
And I think it's pretty safe to say that they're still saving some tricks up their sleeve in terms of like endgame and stuff. Before, like, once we get closer to release, I don't think the cat's fully out of the bag yet. I'm just going to go out and say that I think that there's still some stuff that they're planning and that they're going to be adding. Now, also with the addition of the achievement system, I think it's important to note that they've also changed your ability to customize your banner, because there is a direct link between the two. There's like a severe reduction in choices right now. Eventually I'm assuming it's going to be as much, but now basically you only have a few choices for the banner in terms of the shapes and the patterns and the sigils, but eventually you'll be able to unlock more. So.
Yeah, and I mean, I believe I asked Jay Wilson this in the Diablo 3 press interview at BlizzCon. I don't remember if you were there, but I think that was where I asked him that question. And yeah, he basically just confirmed what you just said. We're going to be unlocking it through achievements. The only reason why we were able to select them all beforehand was because there were no achievements yet.
Right, and that makes sense. So yeah, now there's very few options, but it'll be more upon unlocking achievements. And actually, that just so I can show these peeps at home, these wonderful people at home, I'll just go ahead and go to one of these achievement pages and kind of do the pull down that shows that it rewards with something. Let's see which one we can take a look at. Let's have the Fall of the Black King, this last one here. So if you complete Kill the Skeleton King with all classes, then you'll unlock the Shield Sigil, just as an example. And this is basically, these are going to be the rewards for achievements, basically banner customization. At least as of now, we may see more. Hopefully, I mean, I would assume that eventually we'll have in-game vanity rewards.
Like some dyes or something, that'd definitely be awesome.
Right, yeah, dyes, and I don't know, maybe like, I don't know, I guess that's it. I guess dyes.
Yeah.
Maybe even enchantments, but I don't know if they're ever going to give actual physical, tangible rewards. So
actually, for the collector's edition, can't we? I want to say that we get to summon a little pet-looking thing. Isn't that what the whole Witch Doctor little guy thing was there, or am I wrong? Or is that just like a StarCraft 2 avatar that I saw?
It might be an avatar.
Let me try and find this, and we can keep talking.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so it was definitely pretty cool, and actually we can probably read over the patch notes because we did just take a pretty thorough in-depth look at it. Probably read over the patch notes, and there's also we're going to make a mention of some of the undocumented changes after we go over the basic standard notes. Did you find what you were looking for?
Yeah, Bashak just it's actually the WoW pet that I was talking about. I for some reason I thought it was the Diablo 3 one. I don't know why. I don't know. I just remember seeing him sitting there next to the Tyrael, little-looking Tyrael guy. Yeah. Actually, that might have even been one of the guys with the Tyrael wings on. Now I don't even remember. In my mind,
there you go.
Lose my marbles, I guess.
All right. Well, why don't you actually go ahead and read over the patch notes, and I'm going to tool around with the monk while we're doing that, because there are some specific monk changes that we want to bring up, and I'd like to just be able to show people it while we do that. So, patch notes, beta patch 6. Why don't you...
Okay, so we kind of got the general stuff out of the way. Auction house and Battle.net changes. Again, that's the auction house updates for stackable items can be purchased and sold. Player profiles were added. Achievements were added. Lots of cool stuff. Now let's get on to the classes. First off, we've got the monk. We've got a couple. Actually, the only changes we have are to active skills. We've got blinding flash, and Are you showing off these skills as I'm talking about them?
Yeah, I mean, I need a damn stone to be able to do that, but I'll walk over to one as soon as I can.
Yeah, see?
So frustrating, huh? I can't even, you can't even look at all the available skills until we get to that. Hey, 1 second. I'm just killing the zombies at the front of the new church.
Oh yeah, okay, I got it.
I'll be right in.
The ruse of the Nephilim altar.
Yeah, unbelievable. All right, well, we're just about here, and let's talk a little bit about this too, because there were some pretty big changes there. So why don't you go ahead and start listing those off?
Yeah, so I mean, we've got changes to Blinding Flash, Crippling Wave, Dashing Strike, Exploding Palm, Fists of Thunder, Inner Sanctuary, Lashing Tail Kick, and Lethal Decoy. So I mean, the monk has like every single one of his skills changed. I mean, pretty much every single skill that we've seen in the beta thus far. I don't know, what is there, like 8 skills, and he's got what, like a total of maybe 10? I mean, I'm just weighing this. I don't really know off the top of my head that we unlock in the beta. But yeah, so Blinding Flash, Spirit Cost was reduced from 30 to 10, Blind Duration was increased from 3 to 5, and it now has a 15-second cooldown, where I'm assuming it was no cooldown.
Yeah, there was no cooldown prior, so I mean they've increased the duration, they've decreased the cost,
and added a cooldown.
Yeah, and that's actually they did that with one other. I can't think of it off the top of my head right now.
I think it's Lethal Decoy.
Yes, Lethal Decoy is. Oh wait.
Lethal Decoy is the only one that I see has a bunch of things. I'll run through them all.
Sure, go ahead.
Crippling Wave, damage was reduced from 135% to 110%. Dashing Strike, damage was increased by 95%, from 65 to 160. That is awesome.
Yeah, it's now, last time it was just kind of a little tickle when you hit someone, and now it's actually a pretty significant amount of damage. 160 is pretty solid. I mean, that's more damage than the basic Spirit Generator hitters, Fist of Thunder, Deadly Reach, Crippling Wave. All of those have that's a smaller percentage damage than Dashing Strike now gives. So
definitely. And awesome. Actually, while we're talking about Dashing Strike, I mean, I don't know. I do have a little complaint. You can't target destructibles, and I don't remember if I think I brought this up last week when we were talking about some of the other changes. But whatever. That's that. I did want to get that out there, and I do think that maybe the range should be increased when you don't have a target, because it kind of feels like you just take a couple steps and you just kind of waste some spirit or whatever. I don't know.
I guess the only thing that I would think with that is that it's pretty insane when you're targeted. You can go clear across the screen with it. I'm just worried that they may not want that much mobility without an enemy present.
I suppose that's true, but at the same time...
Because think of PvP. That'd be crazy. You go all the way across the screen, someone's chasing you, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, a barbarian, how far can a barbarian leap? A lot further than,
sure.
The monk's Dashing Strike, and the Demon Hunter can vault a lot further than the Dashing Strike, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we haven't seen Teleport since the BlizzCons, but I'm sure that's got a pretty lengthy distance. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's iffy. Maybe it's because Dashing Strike does damage, but then again, once you start playing with runestones, the other skills do damage too. I mean, I don't know. I mean, at the very least, I would like to see it be able to target destructibles, because I hate dashing into a destructible and then finding my monk stop halfway through just because destructible isn't a valid target for the skill. I don't know.
Sure.
Anyway, Exploding Palm. Explosion damage was reduced from 40% to 30% of the max health of the target. A little bit of a nerf, no biggie. Fists of Thunder was reduced from 120 to 100%. Another nerf, no biggie. Inner Sanctuary. Spirit cost was reduced from 80 to 20. That's huge.
Yeah.
And although it now has a 30-second cooldown, I guess
that's the other one. Yeah. So that's the one that's basically akin to Blinding Flash, where they made it cost less, but now it's got a cooldown as a result. So pretty interesting there. All right.
Lashing Tail Kick. Damage was increased from 180 to 225, and the cooldown was removed.
This is ridiculous.
That is awesome. I love using this because it's kind of like I don't want to call it an AoE, but it almost is. Although what is it? I believe it's like the Barbarian's Cleave skill. It kind of just hits in a nice solid line.
Right. It's like a
swipe through.
I think it's called like a cone damage. It's like directly in front of you. But the fact that it's spammable is nuts now because this is a knockback too, and it's a crazy knockback. It you can make people sail with Lashing Tail Kick. It's hilarious.
Actually, yeah, I remember I was doing the Decker Kane quest, and I accidentally kicked that. I don't even remember what the hell's name is. The purple, whatever
Special Skelly guy, whatever.
Yeah, I kicked him halfway. I just shot him all the way across the room. I had to go chase him down and then run all the way back to talk to Kane to finish the quest. It's like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, but the fact that it's spammable now and it got such a heavy damage increase is awesome. And then the last change was probably the most ridiculous. I thought.
Lethal Decoy.
Yeah, just like
did you use that at all?
No, but now I'm going to read. I mean, why don't you go ahead and read it off for him? It's crazy.
Damage increased from 110% to 330%. Sorry, that's a solid 3 times increase.
That is
duration was reduced from 5 seconds to 1 second. Okay, so the actual duration of the skill. Decoy is now summoned directly on top of the monk, which makes sense, and then it now plays an ability. So again, that's just a little bit of the beta coming out in the patch notes, whatever.
But basically, what this did, it used to be, there used to be a couple of problems with it. One, it didn't do much damage. Two, since you know how it's the duration is reduced to 1 second, it used to be 5, so you had dropped it, and you had to wait 5 whole seconds until it did damage, and that sucked. But now, since it's only a 1 second delay, you drop it and then bam. And since it's also going to spawn right on top of you, now you have control over where it is. Where before it kind of spawned to the side of you, so you weren't really sure. But basically, what this means is now you can dashing strike into a big group, drop a lethal decoy, and then bam, 1 second later it blows up for some crazy amounts of damage. And it's funny. I don't know why this is. I must have some damage alteration going on right now, but my lethal decoy right now says 411% weapon damage. So that's even more than the patch changes say. Yeah, I don't know, but
interesting.
But yeah, it was a big change, and I think now all of a sudden lethal decoy will be something that can actually be used because prior to it kind of sucked. To be honest.
I mean, I never used the skill, so I mean, I'm probably gonna have to play around with it more. And then, do we want to get into the undocumented patch changes? There's quite a few for the monk, particularly again.
Yeah, we can.
But I mean, this is.
Yeah, I'll probably just hop out of this and we'll take a look at that.
Well, I mean, should we just go through it as we go through the classes? Makes sense.
Yeah, why don't we go ahead? So we did. We talked about all that.
So the
monk, and then there were some slight wizard changes. Just less damage for magic weapon, down from 20% to 15%. And then also there were some affixes changes, and we'll actually talk about that later when we talk about Bashiok's little discussion as to why. But basically, some of the monster affixes they got rid of. Die Together, Powerful, and Ghostly have been removed from the game. And we'll look at a little bit as to why in a short while. But why don't we first go into those undocumented changes?
I always love the Ghostly Ghost that Magistrate from Diablo fans is always talking about. I mean, I think that was a couple years back, but I mean, it was literally, because he had a monster affix, so he was the Ghostly Ghost. So anyway, I guess we should just go through alphabetical order right through these changes.
Yeah,
the Barbarian, No Escape, had a proc change on critical hit instead of killing an enemy, and Whirlwind. Fury cost per second was increased from 14 to 16. Now again, these are changes that we're not going to be seeing in the beta, which is why they were undocumented in the official patch notes, because it just really doesn't affect us any. This is just stuff that they're working on internally, because again, they're testing the entire game internally. So these are just tweaks and balance changes and whatnot for each of the skills for classes. So again, that's the Barbarian, just No Escape and Whirlwind. Demon Hunter. We have Grenades, Caltrops, Cluster Arrow, Hungering Arrow, Impale, and Strafe. All got some changes. Do we want to get into everything specifically?
I'll just run over it real quick. So Grenades now dealing 85 weapon damage, up from 80. Caltrops last 6 seconds, down from 12. Wow, Caltrops we get a nerf patch after patch, huh?
Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. I don't. It seems weird to me that they would. That's frustrating. Oh well, Cluster Arrow now deals damage as fire damage. That's pretty interesting.
Actually, it is pretty sweet.
Wow. Hungering Arrow now generates 2 hatred and deals 90% weapon damage instead of costing 10 hatred and dealing 145% weapon damage. So cost a lot less, but it was also dealing a lot less damage.
It instead of costing it, so you can spam it as much as you want at this point.
Right. Right. Okay, so now it's all generation. Impale now costs 25 hatred and deals 275% weapon damage instead of generating 6. So there's a little switcheroo there, a little switcheroo.
Yeah.
But again, at the same time, it's also dealing more damage. And then strafe shots now deal 35% weapon damage, down from 60. So the Demon Hunter got a little bit of a nerf there.
Yeah. So now I'm wondering if there is a way to still generate hatred if you're not using a bow. Because I mean, I was counting on using Impale to do that.
I was told that you still need a bow to use Impale, though, even though it's a weapon throw.
Really?
I could be wrong, though.
I didn't actually try that.
Yeah, I was just perusing through the comments the last DiabloCast. Someone's like, Kevin, you're stupid. You need a bow. I was like, okay.
Of course, they have to precede with Kevin, you're stupid. I mean,
well,
that's how it works, right?
That's the prefix for most sentences. So,
although I'm kind of curious as to why this is in the undocumented changes when this should be affecting us in the beta.
I think this...
Actually, most of this. Oh, I'm assuming,
just
what you're about to say.
This since we're dealing with like a later version, basically.
Right.
That's what I'm assuming. Since we're dealing with there are always like 1 or 2 steps in terms of the iteration ahead of us. So, yeah. So monk changes as well. Lots of monk changes. Again, this isn't something we necessarily have to spend an hour going into, but just balance changes. You can take a look at it here. List is fully visible and available for you. But yeah, just balance changes and also some more balance changes for the Witch Doctor, to Bad Medicine, Rush of Essence, and Haunt. And then the Wizard saw some changes to Spectral Blade, Shock Pulse, Energy Twister, and Magic Weapon. So yeah, various changes that we aren't actually physically seeing in the beta at the moment. Maybe we'll see it in patch number 7, when and if that comes through. Actually, I'll say when, because we are expecting at least one more big thing, which is the Real Money Auction House. So,
yep.
Yes, sir. That's that.
The affix changes.
Right, we can go to that.
Yes.
Okay, so affix changes. As we just mentioned not too long ago, we saw some removal of monster affixes, and once again, that was Die Together, Powerful, and Ghostly. Those monster affixes have been removed. And if you are new to Diablo, let me just clarify really quickly. Monster affixes are these, special enchanted monsters that you'll run across in the world. They have these special abilities, and what is known as an affix. And they'll do certain things. Arcane Enchanted drops down a little disco ball that shoots a laser beam at you. You've got like Frozen Enchanted and Molten Enchanted and all that stuff. But it's basically enhancements to monsters. In the early stage of the beta, we're seeing groups with one. Later down in the road, once release comes out, you can see an enchanted monster that has like 10 different affixes. Like crazy stuff can happen. But anyways, the point is that they were removing some, and people were saying, "Hey, well, what's going on?" Because I thought you guys were trying to add more, and then Bashiok gave us a nice little novel. Do you got a summarization of that, Kevin, or do we just want to bang through it?
Yeah, I can summarize it real quick. Let me just pull it up. For some reason, I don't have it up anymore. And I, of course, can't find it.
Really?
Oh, well. Yeah, so basically, like Dennis said, somebody was asking why some of the monster affixes were removed. Oh, here it is. Why some of the affixes were removed, because obviously, their goal is to add as many as they possibly can, and removing them is quite the opposite of adding as many as they possibly can, right? Makes sense. So basically, Bashiok went through, and I believe he only talked about the Die Together affix. He didn't really talk about Powerful or Ghostly for whatever reason. So basically, Die Together, if I understand this correctly, once you kill the pack, or something along those lines, they go into an invulnerable, like a dead state where they should be dead, but they're not, for a solid 10 seconds, they're not doing anything. And if you don't kill the pack by that by the time the 10 seconds ends, they start to resurrect. So, die together. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, the problem with this was that there were some monsters that don't really have a dead state. For example, some of the zombies, you kill them and they kind of break up into little bits.
They blow up, yeah.
Yeah, right. So some of them didn't really have an actual dead state that could work with this affix. There are others that really don't have an AI that works with this. For example, he used two different examples. One of them, the carrion bats, they can fly to where you can't get to. Mm-hmm. So let's say they fly outside of the walkable area. So, for example, in the cathedral, if they fly kind of outside the map, and you can shoot them if you have ranged skills, but let's say you don't for whatever reason, or there's those nice little gates there on the outside that you can't shoot past. So let's say you kill a bunch of them, and then there's one left, and it just kind of flies off, and you can't touch it. Well, now everything's going to start resurrecting because you can't kill this. Mm. So it makes it essentially invulnerable permanently until at least he flies back.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like the die together affix a lot. I think it adds a lot of interesting because it basically, whenever you see this, it throws you into panic mode. Like, instantly.
True.
Like, all of a sudden, you're like, crap. Like, I gotta... Aside from the fact that chances are incredibly high that you won't only be facing a group of die-together monsters, that there will be, other types of enemies around them as well, kind of disrupting you from killing them off right next to each other. And that... I always found that type of encounter pretty interesting, where you have to kill the entire pack within a set affix, within a set amount of time, or else something negative happens. Either they all resurrect or like giant explosion or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just that removal is kind of frustrating for me. I mean, I understand the reasons behind what you said, that there are several enemy types where it becomes an issue with. I don't know, but I wish that they could have just at least given it to some. Maybe it will still be. Maybe there will still be some.
Yeah.
But it just won't be considered a general monster affix.
That was kind of right. That was kind of what I was a little bit confused about, because in the patch notes it did say that they were removed, but and I'm going to quote this directly. He says in his novel of a post, "At the end of the day, it seemed the die together affix is not appropriate to randomly appear on just any monster. It really needs to be something more like a monster mechanic that's designed to work well with well with it. So maybe this is going to be added on specific monsters. Maybe maybe it's just not going to be a random affix, and there's special unique packs that do spawn with it, because." I mean, I don't know. I was playing through the beta this morning, and there was some random monster that I faced, and like his affix was like eats vegetables or something like that. And I'm like, what is this? It's just like on Old Tristram Road or New Tristram Road, wherever it is, and he was just kind of hanging out behind one of the houses. And I'm killing him. I'm like, wow, well that's an interesting affix. I swear.
No.
Frapsert
didn't happen.
I'm gonna have to try and get it again then, because I mean that was the most ridiculous. I was like, wow, that's clever. I mean, he's at a farm, he eats vegetables. That makes sense.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
So, and again, just for clarification, like this type of encounter, this type of engagement, that as Batchuck said and as Kevin just reiterated, it may still show up in the game, but it's not considered an affix. And the reason I'm driving that home is because, again, to maybe people who are new to the franchise, these monster affixes are supposed to be just as random as the rest of Diablo, whereas they could appear on anything. And for the reasons mentioned, this die together affix wasn't working because some monsters would just turn to smithereens after you kill them, or fly away, or all sorts of other things.
Right. I mean, the other example I think he used was that skeletal summoners, they run in different directions, so I mean, it's really not fair having to chase down several of these guys running in different directions, because I mean, you wouldn't be able to do it in a 10-second span.
They literally just run away from you. They're little cowards. Yeah. It's so annoying. They can't they summon 5 skeletons and then they bolt in the opposite direction.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Yeah. So that is that, actually. Unbelievably.
I think that's all the content we have for the podcast. Is that it?
That's the most of it. Did also, I mean, I'd like to make a quick mention of the fact that there's been more discussion about the release date, and guys, come on, you're still falling for these shenanigans. Release date speculation is that. Release date speculation.
Right.
It's speculation.
So yeah, I mean, specifically we did just see this thread about EB Games saying that it's going to be up February 1st or something like that. I mean, again, these stores just throw out release dates just to gauge or gouge. I never know. I think it's gauge, right?
Gouges like to physically hurt something.
Right?
Why would you gouge anything?
That is why they threw up release dates, to physically harm us. So they just do it to gauge how many pre-orders they're going to be taking.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. They just need to see the numbers. They know how many to purchase in advance. They know how many to have in stock, whatever. But again, this is not an official thing. It's just these stores making up dates. I think they are made up.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say that they're not made up.
I think the thing is, I think why there's like so much hoopla about this stuff still is like when we were in the middle of the summer and like Walmart was like, oh, it's going to be in November. People were like, okay, well, clearly these people are full of crap. But I think what's happening is that as we get closer to the actual release, early 2012. And retailers are showing up like new tentative release dates. People are freaking out because we're getting so close. Everyone,
I guarantee that one of these stores is going to be relatively close. I mean, February 1st. That probably sounds about right. I mean, sure. Blizzard is aiming for early 2012. Yeah. I mean, I would like to say early 2012 is the earlier half of the first quarter.
Yeah.
So what is that, like the 8th of the year or something like that? Whatever. I mean, yeah, I would like to say that February 1st. Yeah, that definitely sounds great, but again, it's not official. Yeah. That's the point here. It's not official.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, and again, this is going to keep happening, but until we hear official word from Blizzard, just realize that everyone's just full of it, and they're just trying to get people to get their pre-orders. And that's the thing, they're just like, hey, we know the release date. Pre-order. Pre-order immediately.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah. Yeah, it's just a whole bunch of shenanigans, and yeah, that is actually going to do it for the bulk of the topic. So again, we covered most of Beta Patch 6, some fairly decent changes, some cool new stuff we saw. Be sure to take a look at the follower page if you haven't already, and then again some collector's edition clarification that we got. Also, be sure to take a look at the video that I just released if you would like some, again, kind of reiteration about what took place in terms of the profile page as well as the achievement list. I go into a little bit of detail of it. So time for some questions. Kevin, I said it looks like you got a good one. You found a good question here?
I do, actually, and it's good thing I didn't add it on at the end of the last topic we were talking about, because that's exactly what it is. So last week we asked you guys why you wanted to play Diablo. I mean, pretty interesting stuff. Dennis and I both got into why we enjoyed playing Diablo, why it was great as a series. And this week, we're going to talk about affixes. At the end of Bashiak's novel post, he basically said, there are reasons why we have to remove affixes. We want to add as many as possible. That in mind, why don't you guys go ahead and give us your affix ideas? And he threw this out there. He said, obviously, affixes are there to create new gameplay for players, like Dennis was talking about. It adds, for example, Die Together throws you into kind of a state of panic, which makes sense. So affixes themselves are just there to add gameplay mechanics. I mean, Mortar was added to make it so that way melee players had to come in, or ranged players had to come in and kind of maneuver around, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, all these different kinds of affixes are just there to add new gameplay mechanics to the game. Adds a little bit of fun, some variety, so that way you're not just kind of running through doing the same thing over and over and over again. Pretty sweet. Bashiak also did say that terms of use basically say that Blizzard can do whatever the hell they want with your ideas, and you don't have to get anything out of it. But hey, I mean, if I said, hey, this is a great idea, you guys should do it, and Blizzard does it, I'm going to know that it was my idea, and that's awesome for me. I mean, how much better can that get, getting your idea placed in a video game that you love and you're going to end up playing? And you're going to tell people, that was my idea. Of course, nobody's going to believe you, but the point is,
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. So yeah, let us know below what type of affixes you would like to see in the game, and maybe they'll toss it in. That'd be exciting, huh?
Definitely.
Okay, so we will move on to some user questions. Basically, every week when we do DiabloCast, we will ask you guys some questions that you're having. Probably chances are that we've already answered them, but we like to keep you guys keep you guys engaged anyways.
Keeps us on our toes, I guess, right?
Right, yeah. Just make sure we actually have a clue as to what we're talking about half the time. So some questions here on the Facebook page, and I think I got a couple there on the Twitter, so we'll pull up some of those. Doesn't seem to be too much activity in the live stream right now. What was that?
Will there be more beta keys? Man, how come nobody's ever asked us that question, ever?
Yeah, it's the first time I've heard that question. Okay, so beta keys are going out. I don't know. They're still doing a once a week thing on the Diablo Facebook fan page, and I think that's pretty much the extent of their beta key giveaways right now.
Yep. I mean, they haven't given us any more or anything.
Nah, there hasn't been anything else, and it's pretty. You know what? I just realized it's almost December. We're getting really close. We're getting really close. I'm just happy I have Skyrim because that's going to keep me busy for the rest of the time. I
still haven't bought it yet. My cousin was yelling at me too.
It's just it's so good. It's so good. I can't wait. Actually, someone asked me today. They said, "Here's a user question." Someone asked me today, "Force, what is better, Skyrim or Diablo 3?" They're completely different. But I'll say this: that Skyrim is amazing, and in and of itself, being a different game, I think it's worth your investment. Diablo 3 will also be worth your investment. If I had to pick 2 games for you to purchase within the next 6-month period, it will be Skyrim and Diablo 3. So just buy them both, please, because they're both awesome.
Actually, I mean, Runic Games just had a nice little Torchlight fan site summit recently, so I was reading up on my buddy's website. I think it's Runic Games fan site. You can kind of just Google it. I mean, or actually, it's just that.com. You can find it. They just had a fan site summit. I believe there's 3 fan sites that were invited. Nice little stuff. I mean, and yes, I'm allowed to talk about this on here. I know we're DiabloCast, but I feel like Torchlight kind of gets at a different audience, and I know we brought this up a couple weeks ago also. So nobody can kill me for saying this. I definitely think that's going to be an interesting game.
Well, yeah, and actually, I recently, in my daily show, I recently made note of the fact that Torchlight 2 is being delayed, and I'm a little concerned for them, at least for the short term financially. I think that if they get too close to the release of Diablo 3, that they're going to get hit in terms of sales. I don't think they're going to do as well.
Somebody asked one of the developers that exact question, like, how do you feel about releasing the game that close to Diablo 3? And basically what they said was, we're still going to get killed in sale. I mean, if we release the game before Diablo 3, it's not going to matter if Diablo 3 comes out 3 weeks after us or 3 weeks before us. You know, like, if people are going to buy Diablo 3 over Torchlight, people are still going to buy Diablo 3 over Torchlight. Like, those couple weeks aren't really going to kill them.
That seems odd, though, because I don't think that's the argument. My line of thinking is that if Torchlight 2 comes out 2 months before Diablo 3, there'll be a lot of people who will buy it.
Right, which is, I don't know. Which is what they had said. Like, a lot of people were going to play Torchlight to hold themselves off until Diablo 3. And what they said was, because basically they're saying, well, I'm not going to bother buying Torchlight anymore because it's coming this close to Diablo 3. And what the developer said was, well, I mean, us coming out a couple weeks before Diablo 3 isn't going to really do much. Like, if Diablo 3 is going to kill us that bad, then coming out 3 weeks earlier isn't going to really change much of anything. At least that was what they said. I mean, I'm just reiterating.
Yeah, no, I know. And it's... Again, if you make those parameters, but I think that my point of contention to them would be, had they, let's say this was a December release. I mean, if they released it before Christmas, obviously Diablo 3 is not going to be up before Christmas. There'd be a lot of people who'd be like, hey, I'd really like Diablo 3 for Christmas, but it's not coming out, so why don't you give me Torchlight 2 instead?
I mean, plus it's only going to be like $20 or something.
Yeah, and I mean, and I hate to say it because I don't want to, like, I'm not trying to make Runic Games is great, and Torchlight 2 is going to be a great game, but since it's so similar, there's no arguing that it is so similar to Diablo 3. That's clearly the case. It's going to be a tough sell, and I don't know. I really do think that I really wish that, for their sake, I mean, this is like me hoping that they could get the most out of this. I know they're putting a lot of work and effort into the game. I do really wish that they had released it for December, mid-early December, because I definitely would buy it, no questions asked. I'm probably still going to get it, but no questions asked, I would have bought it if it came out in a couple of weeks from now.
Ooh, actually, I should throw this out there. I don't know if you were aware, but they're end up doing a beta. They're going to do a beta.
Right.
I'm assuming by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Or
that's actually from what I understand, that is part of the reason. That is part of the reason why they're delaying it, because they want a beta. They want to get feedback from their fan base and stuff. And hopefully, hopefully we'll get to take a look at the beta, and I'd love to show the game to people. Because again, even though it is similar, it does have its differences. Some of the major differences being that it's allowing offline play and modding. I mean, that's big for a lot of people. So I think that's pretty cool.
Right, which is exactly why I think it's hitting on a completely different audience. I mean, Diablo 3, no single player, no modding, which is fine. I mean, although I kind of wish you could mod, and I do kind of wish you could play it single player, because then I can play on planes and whatnot. But I get the reasons behind it.
Exactly.
I understand why they're doing it.
Yeah. I mean, and if for people who don't, it all comes back to the real money auction house and how there could be issues with duping if they allowed either of those things to take place. So they just they just can't. If they want the real money auction house, this can't happen. So
yeah, and I mean, again, and this kind of just harkens back to my point. They're just hitting different audiences here.
Yeah. So there you go. All right. So why don't we pick up some user questions, because we just rambled on.
I got a great one.
Oh, great.
From the swell guy named Bashiok.
Bashiok's got a question. All right, what is it?
Do you regret using Roman numerals to keep track of the DiabloCast episode numbers?
This is you, because I didn't use Roman numerals. That was all you.
Yeah, this was all me. It was a horrible idea. Basically, what you know,
thought
hindsight.
You were so cool, didn't you?
I mean, it makes sense. You know, they use Roman numerals. I was just trying to keep it consistent. You know,
right.
Interviews, they always corrected me and said it's Diablo. You know, well, in the text format, we shouldn't use Diablo 1, 2, and 3. It should be Diablo II, and then III, you know, for 3. You know, just they do it. Makes sense. So I was just trying to keep everything consistent.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I get hindsight is 2020, or I believe. Okay, so Nocturne ended up saying, I believe he's the guy that does D3 Source. I want to say. You know, hindsight is XXXX, so it's 2020. Har har.
Funny. Okay, so I've got a legitimate question.
yeah, I guess it's my bad, kind of just drawing it out. That's right. Anyway,
a question from David. It's David with an E. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I think it's David.
Typo. David.
No. What are your thoughts on the achievements, and will you be going for the Overachiever achievement? I am predicting a February 7th release. When do you think we'll get Diablo 3? No idea about the second half of your question. But achievements, it's interesting. Like, I think it's neat, but it's nothing I care too much for. Like, if I get achievements, great. If there's an achievement that has a really awesome reward, then we can start to persuade me a little bit. But to be perfectly honest, when the game comes out, like, getting banner unlocks isn't going to drive me towards the achievements. I will, unconsciously come about achievements just by playing the game, and that's cool. But that's just me. That's me personally. I know that a lot of people love the achievement system. That's why it's so big now. There's achievements in like every game.
Yeah.
there's website
Minecraft
achievements now.
Achievements.
Yeah. I mean, it's something to do. Which is incidentally the name of this podcast, achievements. It's something to do. That's because that's how I feel about it.
No, I completely agree with you there, and I'm probably gonna end up just going ahead and trying to get the Overachiever, which is the one I was talking about earlier. That's the one, get all the achievements in the beta.
Yeah.
So for the purpose of the beta, I'm probably just gonna say screw it and go ahead and try and get all the achievements. For the most part, yeah, you are gonna get most of them just by playing through. I mean, a lot of them are complete this quest and pick up the follower and kill this many monsters or pick up this much gold, which you're just going to get by playing.
Mm-hmm.
And since there's really not much else to do in the beta already, I'm probably just going to say screw it and just go ahead, play through the beta, level up all my characters, and then just see what achievements I haven't gotten yet and just go get them.
Sure.
Just because, again, it's something to do in the beta, holds me, something to do. There's really not much else to say than that.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things. It's just a matter of whether or not you care about it. And to make a perfect example, if they had PvP achievements, I'm getting every single one. Because that's me as an individual. That's what I care about. PvE achievements, I'm not. The only thing I care about in PvE is getting better gear. I could care less about PvE achievements. And someone's gonna make a video who gets first Overachiever in the Diablo 3 beta, and cool. But I don't care. But that's just me as an individual. That's nothing that I care about. But the first person to unlock all the PvP achievements come launch, that guy's a badass. That's basically how. That's just basically how I feel. That's how I look at gaming, and that's how I look at this achievement thing. So
world firsts in World of Warcraft. That's huge. Like,
yeah. Yeah, no, it's big. It's big stuff. Yeah, and and that's what it does. It adds this competitive spirit, this competition to the game. So there you go. Yeah. That's it. Let me take a look here. I don't know if you had picked up any questions at all.
Actually, I got one from CJ. Okay. I'll throw in a legitimate one here.
Oh, the puppy? I see him.
For the lulz. Yeah, the puppy. There's actually a couple puppies here. Actually. And he answered his own question, but I'm still going to answer it anyway. With the patch notes for patch 6 out, do you think the changes will be there in the final game, or is it just a test? Last I checked, the skill calcs did not change. And actually, I'm going to correct his answer to his own question, because he did say the skill calculators just got updated. Yes, they did. They got updated for patch 6, but it doesn't mean that these are going to be final changes. Again, they might revert some changes, and I'm going to go ahead and use StarCraft 2 as a perfect example. There were some changes they added in, like the PTRs, that they ended up reverting just because they said, well, this is way too much. This is too drastic of a change, or we didn't change the right thing. We need to go ahead and change something else, because obviously StarCraft 2, they're more concerned about balance, but I feel like that fits perfectly, because as of right now, they're just working on balance. They don't want characters to be too overpowered. Obviously there are going to be some, cookie cutter builds for specific characters that's just going to be the strongest in the game, which they're not really worried about, but they do kind of want to have class and build diversity there. So obviously they're going to be fine-tuning some of the stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's possible that it won't be in the final game, but I feel like they are kind of thinking about most of the changes they're doing. I mean, if they have to revert something, they have to revert something, and that's just the fact of the matter.
Yeah, we're still in the beta. There's still plenty of changes to be seen, and nothing's final. So you're going to have to wait a couple months. All right. Well, that was a nice Diablo cast.
I definitely think so. We kind of ran through that one. I like that.
Thank you guys for listening, as always. Thanks for watching. If you're obviously you are watching this on YouTube, it's the only place it's available. And we're still working on iTunes. Don't worry about that. There may be some future changes to DiabloCast, but that's something we're not going to talk about now. But just want to let you know some things may be changing. So keep an eye out for that. We will, of course, keep you informed. So yes, thanks again. Hopefully we were informative and educational, all that wonderful stuff for you. And we'll see you again next week. Next Friday should be it. Or actually, Thanksgiving's next week. What day is that? That's Thursday, right?
Yeah, so that's Black Friday. What are we going to do about that?
We'll figure it out.
Saturday or whatever?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll let you guys know. There'll be an update next week as to when we're doing next week's DiabloCast. But as always, thank you so much for listening. For Kevin, this has been Dennis, and we will see you guys next week. Take it easy.
All right, take it easy, guys.
Woohoo! I'm gonna go play patch 6 now.
Yeah, right?
Hopefully you'll be able to get some achievements now and stop being such a loser.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I mean, seriously, like I killed a chandelier. I killed 3 monsters with a chandelier.
You killed a chandelier? Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm a horrible person.